y'all hear me? Alright, today's gonna be quite an interesting stream. Okay, we have how many people in the chat? I'll make the count show. View count. Okay, so we have 0 people in the chat. Let's go. Okay, we have 2 people now in the chat. Okay, so we are in. We're good. Okay, it's gonna be another 2-hour emergency Wednesday stream. I'll put this in the Rumble, and so I have these set up here. Now there's the Odyssey. Odyssey's live now. And then let's see BitChute. Let's see if BitChute has a thingy. And let's see if this one does it. Does this have a chat? That's the thing. I thought it does. Okay, 29,000 tons. Let's go. Okay, this one here. Live broadcast is now started. Just start. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. See if this starts. Okay, there's a message. Can y'all hear me? I just want to test this out. Okay, I'm going to close this. Okay, hi, Christoph's in the house. Let's go. We have a whole lot of peeps. Okay, we're going to go over some Aether stuff and someone's paper that he sent me to review. It seems pretty advanced. All right. And also here's the threadcast, guys. If you guys know how, if you guys figure out how Hive works and Inleo, post on here. And I'll be using this for AI summaries and also the AI bot if it's working again. But anyways, so post on here, guys. So if you guys figure it out, you can go put on the threadcast, and it's like an X space, but it's on the Hive blockchain. All right, so that's that part, and then. But also on Brave Browser, they have a grouping thingy on the tab, so I can click this. This is for the 20, and then it opens up all the links and so on. So it's pretty cool. So I click that and it opens up the links we can go cover and so on. And before we go further, I do want to... anyways, yeah, so how's my audio, guys? Is my audio fine? Okay, audio's good. Yeah, audio's good. 29,000 tons of thermite. Yeah, epic stuff. And also, guys, I'll be going as Justin Trudeau for Halloween. I'll pop this in. So there's Justin Trudeau, if you haven't seen him lately. There's Justin Trudeau. And, yeah, this part here is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I'm like, is this real life? How is this guy the Prime Minister? Justin Trudeau. Like, what is he doing? And he deeply regrets racist makeup pics. He looks pretty hilarious. He looks pretty, like the life of the party. So he regrets having a great time putting blackface on. And this was the emoji, blackface emoji. Like this would be the greatest emoji ever. It's like you change his color. Alright, guys. Anyways, let's see what we have in here. Okay, so I'm gonna. Yeah, so that's that part. Also, another part is there was a. So on Saturday, I did the live stream right at the exact same time that Blue Bacon disinfo agent guy. He literally premiered his hit piece against John Hutchison. So that was pretty interesting. And but what's interesting is if you comment his full name, he will not. It's like automatically deleted. So if you go over, I'll show you. See the setup here. Yes, where's that guy? I can't even find where it is. Yeah, so if you go, like I was commenting on the thingy. So basically, if you comment, so I was commenting on a thingy. First I said, actually the funniest one was. You're back. Go back to the Dr. Phil show with a pedo police impersonator. Yeah, that's the thing. He was literally on the Dr. Phil show before he's famous. Like, no, I mean he's not famous, but the thing is, he has no following. All of a sudden, gets on the Dr. Phil show, like arguing with this scammer that impersonates police. But the guy's literally a convicted pedo. So it's like, what kind of weird world are we in? And then he replies, but then I reply, and then he deletes my comments. So all the comments are deleted. I said, why do you hide your real name? And so on. And he pretends like he's not. So he's lying the whole time. And I said, I said, get building 3 versus Twin Towers correct next time, James Fulner. So if you write James Fulner, he will delete your comments. So again, and then all of his handlers, Judy, there's another one, Lisa, they all follow along, and they will they're under contract, I think, not to give in any inch, like basically not admit that they're lying. And so it's really that's not a hit piece. That's just a clown show. Literally, yeah, it is a clown show. It's just too much to even look at. It's just absolute nonsense. And it took him 4 months to finally upload. And he posted right on during my live stream, so then I can't go on the thingy on the chat. Well, I didn't know. I could have gone on the chat and said, hey, James Fulner, why are you deleting your name? So anyways, yeah, and then also further, there's Macron getting slapped by his man wife. Boom, right in the face. Let's go. Okay. Yeah. So that was out. Macron getting slapped. But anyway, so James Fuller. You could try it yourself. Put on a James Fuller on his thingy, and so that's interesting. I did a deep like research with the Grok AI on him, and the only thing I was able to find, he has an X account that's private. That's again, the guy's really weird. So anytime to refer to him, I'm just gonna call him James. So he has an X account that's private, even though he posts like 1,000 times. So it's like, what do you? And it's for his Blue Bacon disinfo channel. So like, well, what are you doing? And then I think the funniest thing I found is so he has a handler. So he has a handler named Judy. Judy got this, and again, she also refers to Judy Wood as Judy Woods with the thingy with the S, and also on her YouTube channel says this is all James K's fault. Unless I'm guessing that's James Fulner, but then just put a K as a joke. That's my guess, and so that's interesting. So she's made a channel, but also she's quite a large lady as well. I'm gonna go back to the James. Okay, let's go to the Fulner. So he's a handler, so she's quite a large lady, and she also does live streams with him, and he's always in wearing a costume. Here's wearing fake military gear, or real military gear. Hi y'all, Joe LaFemme, let's go. Yeah, so and then she's quite a large lady. So this is let's have a listen at her face. Anyways, so she has streams with him, and she's quite a large lady.
What? I don't know what's happening.
Who's providing strawberry?
So this person with like no chin is the is like with a double chin is the one that's covering up 9/11 and all that, and joins in with this absolute clown show and is wearing a military gear in his kitchen. Where's the while he's cooking.
That is so
saying something
entirely
about that?
cheating.
Mm,
I mean,
too
I know
bad.
that I cheat, but at least I cheat fairly.
Okay.
Darn.
Yeah. So.
I don't know what to tell you.
And yeah, it says chef on him. Okay, so it is, yeah, so it is a fake military gears. Yeah, so and he was Rotary Matrix. This is just a clown show. This guy here is like Asher Forbes of the disinfo side. Yeah, so anyways, that is really weird. All right, I just don't understand. And this said Mav 1119. Yeah. And this time for Lisa A. And Lisa, yeah, so Lisa's the Lisa Judy handlers of Blue Bacon, aka James Fulner. So that's interesting. Both give up serial killer vibes. Yeah, definitely. They have like no morality. They're just not human. They're like blackmailed, probably pedos. All right, so that's that. And then what else do we have in the show before I get into the nitty gritty? Anyways, and again, guys, these Wednesday streams are the math Q&A. I'm gonna ask this guy right here. Actually, once I get into it, I'll let him know. So I'm gonna go over right here. What's it, Telegram? So and that's the thing. If you guys have any questions, I'm gonna go straight into whatever the topic is. Today's the Aether. But before we get to that, so there's John Hutchison. John Hutchison actually sent an email to like that included Jeremy Reese, alien scientist. So if you go to the email, I hate when there's like, it was one email. Isn't it one thing? It's like when you send an email for Yahoo or whatever, it sends us a new email. Why can't you just reply? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. It's like I get multiple emails, but all for one thread, which is annoying to the max. Let's go trust. So where is the... okay, let's go Hutchison. My goodness, it's like, I don't understand where is... Okay, this is... So he sends me an email. Yeah, this one right here. So he sends an email right here. And he includes a whole bunch of peeps. He includes even Jeremy Reese, alien scientist, and Tim Ventura, George Hathaway. And then he says that Matthew's the only person I trust with all the stuff to make public, and so on. So I'm the only one he trusts for all his Hutchison effect footage, and so on. And then he sends an email a few hours ago. Let's go. And then he says, "Thanks, Matthew. You're the only one I could trust. I love my inner voice or feelings like a radar system." So anyway, so John Hutchison's inner radar, trust MES all day. Let's go. And I said, "Great stuff, John. Keep me posted when you got the 1980s system running again. And thanks for trusting me with all your files or footage. I'll do my best to preserve your legacy." Let's go. So again, John Hutchison has internal EMF radar, and MES is one he trusts. So let's go with that. Okay, I'm gonna go and right here. So hey, 29. Okay, so we have Rotary Matrix in the show, and so on. Okay, so I'll keep this like that, and let's see what else we have. All right, so now we're gonna go over some Aether mumbo jumbo. Okay, so Joe Massot and MES Links chat He writes this, so we're gonna read it and see what we end up finding here. Actually, I'll open up. I'll open this up better here. Okay, yeah. So we are. Okay, so that doesn't work like that. Okay, so it's like it's in the chat maybe. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so Joe says before you study again, that's harder to read. I'm going to open up like this. Okay, Joe says before you start experimenting, let me introduce you to a model. Keep it in mind. Electromagnetism is the ether flows. Ether is the ultra thin material that flows between atoms and particles. Cosmos is absolutely full of it with several texture scales. The more it is near from a magnet, the more ether is condensed by falling on the magnet. Interesting. So yeah, so there's another Joe here. Where's Joe? Hello, Joe. Where's oh this guy? Okay, Joe La Famille. Okay, yeah, there it is. Let's go. And I just want to double check there's any comments. So no comments on Rumble, no comments there. And again, also what's interesting is on Saturday we had the live stream about that Lapu Vancouver car attack, and then Monday, literally 2 days ago, there's that Liverpool car attack. So like what? And it's like exactly on the 26th, 1 month exactly from the day. So that was absolutely bananas. All right. So anyways, yeah. So ether is the ultra thin material that flows between atoms and particles. Cosmos is absolutely full of it with several textural scales. The more it is near from a magnet, the more ether is condensed by falling on the magnet. On Earth is a magnet. It is responsible for heaviness, but nothing is heavy without this ether flow. Ether is extremely thin in scale terms, and ether, quote, kernel is to an atom what an atom is for a planet. Interesting. So, ether is basically an atom's atom. Also, as the sound makes atoms and particles waving in compressible structures or structure that can be deformed, gas, liquids, solids, light is the ether waving, but here is the point: the ether can vibrate but is not compressible. Also can't be squished. So it vibrates from the thing that excites ether to all surfaces. So in other words, if it's not compressible, so in other words, you're going to have some ether and you're going to also have empty space then, or something. So if it can vibrate, then basically what you're saying is there is space without ether. So it vibrates from the thing that excites ether to all surfaces and obstacles around. Ether is the fluidest thing, an antithesis of nothingness, where nothing can be, even an empty space, because space is something yet. Okay, so again, we need to break this down. Okay, and ether is obviously magnetic. All right. So the thing is, ether is magnetic, or is ether magnetism, or is the flow of magnetic field? Anyways, so we need to like structure everything. Atoms are like snowballs of ether. If you throw it under a snowfall. Yeah, Donald Duck. Okay, there's the flat Earth anti-moon landing guy. Another rocket exploded from Elon. He didn't want exposed neutrons. Okay. Anyways, one more. I keep telling you, stop doing this. It's just constantly talking about Newton's third law, but he has no idea about it. How do I put timeout? Okay, you have 5 minutes timeout. Just please stop ruining the chat with this nonsense. And I can't even do that now. Okay, so it's like can't even go there. Anyways, okay, you have one more chance. Next time you do it, we're done. Let's put a 5-minute timeout. Dr. Judy Wood, where do the towers go? Belongs in every high school library. Yeah, yes, for sure. Gary Jackson. Okay, so this guy's comment is showing, but not Gary Jackson's. So, like, what in the world's going on here? Like, why is this guy's, and then this guy's is showing? Okay, this is absolutely ridiculous. So this guy, okay, there it is. Yeah, Dr. Judy Wood, where the towers go belongs in every high school. Yeah, and let me know how your pursuit is of getting that book everywhere. And I think you had a lawsuit against the school board. Anyways, that's Gary Jackson for you. All right, so going further. Yeah, so atoms are like snowballs of ether. If you throw it under a snowfall, the ball gets heavier. Other snowflakes condensing on the snowball. Think about Hadron accelerators with this now. Okay, yeah, they hit each other and they become bigger. Okay, but magnetic snowballs here. Oh yeah, magnetic snowball. Light is instantaneous. Only the electromagnetic current's speed can be measured. Okay, so the speed of it, yeah, the electromagnetic waves on it. But again, what do you mean by light is instantaneous? Isn't light the actual waving? And all we see is not light or colors. What we hear is not sound, but that's our brains interpret those vibrations with the eyes, with the ears, the skin. Infrareds or UVs are also ether vibration spectrums, a little like hearing range between 20 and 20 kilohertz. I've all the cosmology with this, like planet formations and so on. I want to know if someone could take it in math language. Ask me if you want to dig. Yeah, but that's the thing. To understand it, it has to be also be put in math, or just like some sort of model that we could use, or some insights that you can gain. So like, yeah. So I also view basically everything's ether, ether and non-ether. Basically, there's empty space, and that's what you can't have vibration if you're not going to have some sort of empty or a non-ether substance. So if you have ether, then you're going to have, if it's vibrating, you're going to have something that's not. Similar to if you have air, that's like sound. The sound needs to move between like not sound. So in other words, nothing. Do you know the channel Theory Apotheosis? Yeah, Ken Wheeler, lots of interesting talk about ether. Yeah, I do know. I was watching him a lot. But the thing is, he doesn't like retracting statements. So he got his ferro fluid, the ferro cell, like he misinterprets it, and he still has not corrected himself after all these years. So Fractal Woman did a great piece. Basically, we'll go over that as well, actually, since we're on it. First, and then so I replied to this guy. I said, yeah, ether is the name of the game. And then I replied with thanks. I'm definitely of the view of the ether exists. Sounds like a similar model to that of Einol Dinu. So Einol Dinu, it's very yeah. It's one I use some of his videos for experiments. So this one in terms of ether, understanding ether. This person and Fractal Woman, I think so far are the best. And I think the other guy is the what is that? Ethereal mechanics guy. Okay, so this is this guy puts it on a model, and I'm trying to get a hold of this model. This is like a super expensive model. That 3D like software, but he wouldn't let it. He won't let me have it. So I'm like, what are you doing? He's trying to like win a Nobel Peace Prize or something by demonstrating everything's ether. Yet he won't show this and doesn't realize that they already know the ether exists, and they're just gonna destroy you. Okay. So anyways, so we'll go over the Ken Wheeler. I will say this. So this is a theory. I'll just go with Ken Wheeler. So I have seen a lot of his stuff. Yeah. So this part right here, he needs to retract the statement right here. So on the ferro cell, like yeah, he has a lot of good philosophical stuff and also some magnet experiments that I read. So.
Okay, I promise
but this right
to show
here,
you something now that I've never talked about before.
So this right here, yeah, this is pretty much like a black hole and so on, but it's not center of light at the inertial plane and so on. This is just literally just the nanoparticles of the iron nanoparticles that under a magnet they follow the magnetic flux lines, and then these are just illusions from spectral reflection. In other words, light from these LEDs hitting it and then bouncing off. But then there's LEDs around and it hits it in a perfect spectrum. Newton's first law, also known as law of inertia, states that an object will remain at rest or continue at all constant unless acted upon. Okay, anyways, so you're muted. I'm just gonna mute you for put user in timeout. This is just absolutely insane. Like, just please stop. Let's go 10 minutes. Like, just please stop talking nonsense. So anyways, Donald Duck, I'm pretty sure is a robot, because last time on Saturday I told him, hey, get on the Rumble stream, because we're gonna talk about graphic stuff that YouTube bans, and he would never shift it over there. So it's like I think he's pretty much a robot. So next time I'm just give him like a 30-minute timeout. So anyways, when someone says Newton's third law doesn't work in a vacuum, just please just delete your channel. Anyways, so he says this part right here. So he thinks this is some sort of super special magnetic field, but it's literally, it looks cool, but it's just spectral, like reflection. So I'll go over MES science. I posted this several times on Fractal Woman's thingy here. Yeah, but nonetheless, he still got his stuff right. Okay, so I did share some of his stuff. So this is the magnetic demonstration ferrofluid, and then Fractal Woman joined the show there. I'm gonna go over to ferrocell. Yes, if you go demystify the ferrocell, so this is all different light LEDs with different colored lights, and then she modeled the exact same thing using simulation. Well, there's another guy, AB Science. He was debunking Ken Wheeler, and then she saw it, and she's like, because initially she was talking about Ken Wheeler stuff, and then this model is literally just light reflecting. to your eyes based on the magnetic flux lines. Eric read theory has superiority complex of blinds. That's another part is like, well, when you're clearly wrong, you got to be able to tell you're clearly wrong. And Rumble is worse trash. Interesting, yeah. No, but the thing is, Rumble doesn't delete. My last channel on Saturday, I got a warning for the trailer. So YouTube, you can't put anything violent, etc. And you can't deny violent events or question them. So you need to, like, when you put something violent, you need to put like basically a mainstream narrative on it. And so that's the thing. And I don't want to get my channel deleted or get a strike. So anyways, so this is a simulation, AV science. And I'll explain what specular reflection is. Here's another one, the same software using. You can model every single thing with the ferrocell using LEDs, all different colors, and it shows you the exact path of them. So it's not a magnetic field; it's just an illusion that arises from light reflecting off the nanoparticles of. And basically, here's specular reflection. Basically, hits something and reflects at the same angle that it struck. So it struck here, incident, goes back. That's all it is. It's hitting these small nanoparticles, and compare that with diffuse reflection. Yeah, walking on egg crates. Yeah, that's the thing. YouTube is just Rumble. You can say anything for now. They don't censor much, and so on. So it's again Rumble's the. But I'm also on everywhere. I'm also on Rumble as we speak. I'm streaming on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, and X. And then basically whichever one has the most YouTube chat or the most chat, I'll put that first. So that's the thing. I go with whatever people are. And there's a diffuse reflection is just everywhere. Specular is literally just like a mirror. It's just a mirror reflection. That's all it is. And then here's I highly recommend watching this demystifying the ferrocell. And so again, again he's done a lot of good stuff, but you need to be able to correct yourself and then move forward, and so on. And then she also made it with like diffuse lighting, or not coherent LEDs. And you can have the same effects. You can model exactly everything as is. And she goes over the whole thingy and so on. And then further demystifying, you can make any kind of shape. It shows you that the light just loops around. It's not a looping. It's an illusion. Because the light's going here, but the thing is, the nanoparticles is reflecting magically, and so on. So again, I put all over links here. There's silent movie on this. So what I'm trying to say is you can literally model the exact ferrocell, or like near exact, all with reflecting light. Like and this is always a model of little tiny nanoparticles, and you can see these diffuse. Here it is with more granule, so you can see that that kind of setup here. Let's see this video. And this is a model she's working with, and she's using diffuse lighting, so you can make that. But again, nonetheless, that center there, I'm pretty sure that's how when we see a black hole, that's what we're seeing. We're just seeing it's an illusion. I think the black hole is an illusion, similar to this one here, of a giant magnet with a bunch of nanoparticles, which are but instead of nanoparticles, it's just large particles in space. Everything's getting reflected accordingly. So again, black hole, what we're actually seeing is a center of a giant magnet. So nonetheless, Ken Wheeler is right about that. It's I think black holes is just center of a giant magnet, and what we're actually seeing is an illusion. It's just a reflection illusion of the particles in space. And you can make a whole bunch of shapes like this as well, and so on. You can make add a whole bunch of different magnets, and you can go and create all different kinds of light contours and so on. So again, very cool stuff, but it's light reflection. So the key part is it's just this. It's not the actual magnetic field. This is not the magnetic field. This is just an optical illusion from light interacting with the nanoparticles, iron nanoparticles aligned in the magnetic field near a magnet. So that's all it is. So take that, and so again, so it's not some sort of magical magnetic field, inertial plane. But again, those technically could be right about the how you call them could be right about magnets. But this center is literally just light reflection. So I can't stress that enough. And then also here and also Ken Wheeler repeats himself like nonstop. So it's like once you watch 100 videos, the next 100 is not going to be much different. Is it a wave or particle though? But again, when I say particle, I'm talking about practical terms. So this is a particle. This knife, wait, where's the knife? This knife is a particle. If you have shine light on it, it reflects. So the question is, what is the actual light? I think light is just the ether vibration. and then solid objects probably just like a standing wave or something. Is ether considered background medium? I think ether is like, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think it is a medium where it's everywhere, and then everything that's not ether is what we see. Yeah, or vibrations. Yeah, basically what we see is non-ether, so it's like a ether bubble. So like imagine you have a fluid, and we'll go over some of that. Again, I do like this is some good talking. But anyways, so this is it's pretty good. So he wants to put in the math stuff, but the key part is there's two things that we have to consider. Okay, whenever you make a model, even if you say ether, even if you say quantum fluid, even quantum mechanics, you need two things. Okay, you need to be able to actually three things I would say. Three things that any one of them is very useful information. Okay, the key part is get useful information. So like, if you know everything's ether, can you produce something that the opposite you wouldn't be able to? So if you didn't know everything's ether, well, right now there's TVs and phones. There's TVs and phones and all these magical technology, all being produced by people that either don't believe that ether exists or are ignorant of it. So it's like, can you produce something better than a phone? And again, one way is free energy, and what we see is what ether is doing. Well, yeah, but the thing is, if it's doing something, there needs to be something that's not ether. If everything is ether, and then you're not going to be able to differentiate anything between, like for example, if you have a bucket of water, you're not going to be able to tell what's not water if everything is water. All you see is blank. So if you have a bubble in water, you can see the bubble. That's because that bubble is not ether. So what I mean is, what you see is not ether. So in other words, there's ether and non-ether. That's my so basically empty space and ether. Telepathy, tape, kids tapping into ether stream for all. Yeah. But again, going back to here, so we need three things. There's the key thing is can we get anything useful out of this? And then what I mean by that is there's three useful things we can do. One of them is we can model exactly like the current mainstream physics. Or like we can just literally get the exact same numbers, exact same predictions. And then the other one is, can we predict new things that would happen if we had this ether model? And then yeah, and the other one is even if we didn't put any numerical stuff in there, can we gain insights to experiment with other stuff? Like that we can develop something that's hasn't been done. For example, anti-gravity and so on. So anyways, okay, well yeah. It's basically whenever you see is non-ether. So that's how I view things. Okay, so I'm gonna close this one. Okay, this part here, I definitely highly recommend going through all of this stuff here. And what I actually did was, before we get to that ether part, okay, so this is the, here is the magnetism in terms of ether rotation.
Here we have.
So is there ether in a vacuum? Yeah, there's ether in a vacuum, yeah. So a vacuum is not a perfect, it's like, it still has ether in there. It has less ether, or no, actually, yeah. It still has ether. Yeah, basically, it's everywhere. But then it's everywhere. But it is. I think yeah. So it's either the other way to look at it is if it's all waves, then basically ether is when it's not in motion. You're like when there's a difference between ether in motion and ether in still. That's when you can see. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that there needs to be some sort of difference between the substance. And you know, anyways, and I think I have to go back, retract again. Yeah, there needs to be definitely something and nothing. So there's ether and then there's nothing. I think that again, that's yeah, going back to that. So even if it was a wave, you need to have a wave of something, but to wave you need to actually have distance. So something needs to go up and down in a wave. That means there needs to be an empty space for it to go up and down. Otherwise, the up and down are the same thing. Energy can carry data. Anyways, yeah, anything. Data is literally just an abstraction. If you have a bunch of waves and you just specify them differently, that's data. So anyways, going back here, so this is the Einaldino ether science.
Have two identical cylinders completely
So for those who haven't seen this, I'm gonna play this.
submerged in water.
So
Two flexible
I'm just gonna go fast forward.
motors.
So if these are just two motors, a rotor, or just spinning in the water, when you spin them in the same direction, they repel. If you go this way, and then this way, they hit each other.
which are going to rotate the cylinders in opposite directions. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so opposite
Start motors now.
opposite directions they attract. So again, this is you can think of it as a North Pole and South Pole. So they attract. I'm gonna fast forward.
Consider the cylinders. The traction are sticking to each other. Let's try to separate them.
And then when you separate them, you won't be able to. So again, I'm just going to fast forward so we can grasp it. And now if you do same direction, they repel. So again, what I'm trying to say is you can model. This is something useful. You can model magnets
Observe that the cylinders
with just ether flow, with water fluid flow, and now they repel.
it's quite difficult to make them approach each other. We see that there is a force which is acting so that they
Mention the curl of the fingers indicates the direction of the cylinder. Okay, now here's the magnets right here. This is basically a rotation of. That's all it is. It's just a cylinder that's rotating. There's no. You consider north this way. This south is the bottom, and then there's north south of the magnet. And then if you go fast forward, and then you do the exact same thing here. North south attract, and then the other ones repel. Opposite poles attract for both the cylinders and magnets. So again, there's attract. This one's setup isn't good, but this one's pretty good setup. Like poles repel, and the same behavior is observed for both the cylinders and magnets. So here, watch. So if you put them in repulsion, and they all they flip around exactly the same. And magnets, like magnets. So now it flips around and then lines up exactly like this. Lines up opposite
Even
poles.
when placed on their sides with like poles parallel to each other, both the cylinders and magnets repel and behave the exact same.
Yeah, so basically it literally flips so that their opposites attract always. And the question is here, I have here.
Is a magnet just a vortex in a fluid-like substance called the ether?
Yeah. So again, I can't stress how important this is. You can model similar behavior, like near exact for just qualitatively, just by rotating water. Rotating water matches a actual magnet. All right, it's like all right. Yeah, I'm gonna put another one. So then another one I should add here. I'm gonna go to experiments. You go to the experiments setup here. The one I want to include that in that playlist, MES Physics, is this one. It's super simple. This where basically this lineup. I'm gonna go and save this to playlist Physics, so we have it on the same playlist. Physics. Okay, MES Physics. Okay, so I'm gonna add that as well. So now we have this at the last part. So this one here, it's super simple, but I just came across this randomly. I was just spinning the things, and then I'm like, what the? It kept going. So this thing spins like 5-10 minutes. This is a heavy steel spinning top. So I spin it. If you spin it clockwise, and then and now just see how long it. Yeah, I basically spun it until it's stationary. Or until it's like level. Now this one, I spin this also clockwise, same direction, but it's each time it's hitting each other. So they strike with opposing spins, so that's why they don't attract or they slow down. So they're hitting each other. This one's gonna die super quickly. I think this one's heavier, more inertia. Okay, this one falls down and it's dead. But the same one, if I spin it in the opposite direction, it lines up. So basically, the spins line up and they can go faster and faster. So again, this is similar to that ether magnetism flow. So they strike. This one, it basically speeds this one up. So it goes the entire time, even though this one only lasts like a minute. And I have this like 5x speed, so this is like 5-10 minutes this can go. And it keeps going on and on. And this one, I actually bought this one from like a GoFundMe thingy. This was has a bearing on top. You could actually flip it upside down. Because I use it because it rises on its own even when a ball bearing. That was just to debunk mainstream physics. But that's for another day. All right, we have a first comment here on Rumble. Jesper YouTube Shorts. Let's go here. Let's go and see what he has in here.
Go to restivonia.com.
Best AI psychologist. Okay, so is this, we're going AI psychologist. Is this a spam?
Subscribe now for $9.99.
Unbelievable. We got our first spammer. All right, let's go and mute forever. Okay, just get out of here, Jesper. If it's not spam, you can message me on other stuff, but I'm pretty sure you're spam. Okay, so anyways, that's that part. I highly recommend that part. And then going back to that ether. Yeah, so I'm gonna add this as well. Actually, this is pretty good. I'm gonna go right here. Save. Physics. This one is as well. Again, I'm an experimentalist at heart. I need something to validate the words I say. So if someone says, "Oh, everything's ether," well, give me something that we can take home. And this is another part. here's a mechanical demonstration of inertia. Is just gyroscopes lining up.
All right.
So when you have ether flow, it's stuff lining up. This is from Francis McCabe, the late Francis McCabe. So there's a whole bunch of gyros lined up right here.
Assembly for gyro horizons.
So here's gyro horizons from a military
World War II type
fighter plane.
Plane. And so, but every once in a while, this.
So what he does here is that he spins them up, and then when they're all oriented in random directions, there's a lot of force, a lot of inertia.
What happened here is we're going to start to see a natural frequency that this makes for itself, and then that will select the oscillation. Now I'm not touching, so you can see that oscillation, that frequency, back and forth, making a motor now without this, have a motorization this one.
Okay, so he's just spinning them up. It's really loud.
And that one's starting to motorize the other side. So there's like just a frequency, self-developed frequency to make the actual motor to just oscillate back and forth.
Okay, this frequency, the frequency mumbo jumbo is just because it's using air pressure, so it's gonna spin it up each one differently based on whatever air is coming in and any other nooks and crannies of the specific gyro. But anyways, so now there's a torque there.
Now the next thing is that we're going to have a random positioning of these, and we think this is going to be a demonstration of the actual occurrence of mechanical rendition of inertia.
Yeah, so mechanical rendition of inertia right here.
We've never seen inertia in a mechanical, understandable, or let's say seemingly observable rendition. So what we want to do is turn this crank. These are all in random locations.
Yeah, so there's some force for it to turn. Once all these ones turn, then it goes super smooth. Yeah.
What's going to happen is you can see is they immediately align themselves.
And they're all lined up according to the spin.
That will only allow us to finish.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the idea. So again, that's and the thing is with magnets, when you break a magnet apart, it's another magnet. It's like all fractal. And when you apply magnetic field, basically all that happens is all the domains line up. So basically all the little ether gyros line up. So think about it this way: ether, ether rotation is magnets, and then or atoms and magnets, and then a whole bunch of those is inertia. Lining them all up together is motion and basically motion. If you're just walking back and forth, everything's lining up, but initially it takes a while for them to line up, so ether flow to line up. So the motion you move, anything, all motion, according to this model, is basically the little tiny ether magnets or atoms are spinning and lining up. But then whereas an actual permanent magnet, for example, is you do that, but you spin up all of them, as opposed to just moving, you spin them all up. So it's like these are the actual magnets. So when you apply magnetic field to like an iron piece, all you're doing is actually spinning it. So Einstein says, okay, Inventor 3, let's go. Inventor 3's in the house. If you have seen the, I definitely recommend watching this inertial demonstration by Francis McCabe if you haven't seen it. If you just joined the show. But anyways, yes, Inventor 3, Paul Mueller, let's go. Okay, so there's another one I want to add. This one's a very, very good one. Okay, I think I'm gonna go back. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Where's the this one? Nope. Where's the back one? There's no back. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is MES physics. Okay, so we're gonna go. This is the experiments. Oh, another one I think is worth adding. It 45-second video. Einstein says. Where is this at? Is it your video? Einstein says. Okay, we'll play that in a bit. 45 second. But I want to show this part. Another one here, just to help understand gyros. So here's Tippy Top rises on its own. Again, this is all the mainstream explanations on this are wrong because they can spin without friction at the bottom. Oh, they can rise even though a gyro rises. Anyways, I made this one right here. And then I want to show right here, these are just some interesting science experiments. What was this one even called? Comparing tippy top, phi top, and gyro rising test. Okay, so that's a tippy top. This is a phi top. This also rises. Just gonna fast forward. And then last one. And it's illustrated with the gyros. So here's the gyro. I have it with 2 degrees of freedom. So if you spin it this way, yeah. So notice how it just rotates across there, and this goes back to the Francis McCabe inertia demonstration. But when you spin it up, it wants to move towards lining up the spin and the external torque. So here, gyro lines up with applied torque. So here it is. Yeah, see what I did? If I'm spinning it in the opposite direction. So it lines up, no, I'm spinning it in the direction of the spin. There's no torque applied. The second, if I go opposite, now notice how it flips all the way upside down. That's what I wanted to illustrate. And it's stable if you go opposite, as long as you go slowly. So it's stable. Again, it's very, very similar to a magnet. I'm trying to say, and so on. And then torquing is unstable in opposite direction. But you can go, if you go slowly, yeah, if you the second you nudge it, it flips all the way up. Yeah, but spinning in the direction is stable anyways. So again, everything is lining up. I'm gonna add this as well to the physics one for, basically, I want to make this as a standalone. Okay, anyways, Einstein says, do you have a link there? I'll put you as a moderator. Add as moderator. Standard moderator. Okay, so I can't even see that. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. Add a standard moderator. Okay, so Inventor 3, you're a moderator. Add the link here, Paul. Okay, you're a moderator. You can add the link. Einstein says 45 seconds video. Anyways, you can add the link there, or you can email, or anyways. So you're a moderator. And okay, so we have that. I think I added it. Let's see if this refreshes. Okay, so the MS physics ones, these are the most important ones. Okay, I didn't add it yet. Okay, there's physics. Okay, these are super simple, but just grasping all in what my mindset is. Okay, so that's that part. And then speaking about the Aether stuff, so I was actually working on a giant video on the Bruce Palmer Machine before I started thinking just do the experiment, like upload it. Takes a while. So this was to help understand it. This is a free energy part 4. I was working on it last year and so on, but it just takes too long. And then I'm like, I'd rather just do this stuff I'm doing now. And then also great that Richard Hall took it upon himself and actually did these experiments. And then so Paul Mueller, I told Richard Hall literally put the magnets in repulsion for the Bruce Palmer test. So I emailed him and I gave him links to your drop test, and I said, I've also included photos of magnetic field of magnets in attraction versus repulsion. When placed next to a cathode ray tube TV, note how much more condensed the field is for magnets in repulsion, and definitely worth testing the N machine with the magnets bolted in repulsion rather than attraction. And again, I bolded it here as well. I'm like, perhaps you can attach the magnets and repulsion on the copper discs for your mini N machine. So again, look at the magnetic field. Yeah, this is magnetic field with magnets in repulsion, and I still have to do the Atwood test. I have some magnets. I'll do that once I get in the groove. And this is the magnetic field of just regular attraction, magnets in attraction. So this is the bottom here would be north, south, south, north, etc. But now here is I think it's north, north or south, south. Doesn't matter. Or it might be different a bit, but look how condensed it is. So basically, when you put magnets in repulsion, you're like forcing the ether into super condensed and like way stronger magnetic flux there. This is like some groundbreaking stuff. And this is Paul Mueller's. I took a screenshot of yours. Again, that is absolutely fascinating, and I have that here for those in the chat. And I put links to yours. So basically, and this is in front of a cathode ray TV tube there. And definitely, so again, this is Paul Mueller's video there from way back. Okay, there's the video, Inventor 3, let's go. I'll play that, but I want to click on this thing.
These are two magnets.
So Paul Mueller is probably the only person who has ever made a video of magnets and repulsion dropped in a copper tube. And then he's probably the only person who put magnets in repulsion in front of a CRT cathode ray tube TV. And this was 14 years ago. So I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I the only one like absolutely astonished by this? Why isn't this world famous? All right, there's that. And you put the
Okay.
magnets repulsion soon.
Get a good look at that. Strange.
And then the black formation, I think, is only in the camera.
I see a big black bar going across the screen, and believe it or not, this shadow bar is only in the camera. I do not see this with my visual eyes right now. It's very interesting. I don't know where that black bar is going across. I wonder if it'll come out on screen. Anyhow, okay, look at how the fields...
Yeah, that is interesting. So why is that black bar showing up? I'm going to ask Grok AI, and then we'll play the video first, then I'll ask after. But I just want to continue with this.
They're spread apart. Now, let me show you. These magnets here are with opposites. Same poles together. And you can see it's much more condensed. The field is much more condensed and sticking out the sides more. Okay? Now, what I'm going to show you is...
Yeah, so you got that. That was, again, astonishing. Wouldn't that be interlacing on the screen? Yeah, but that's not from, that's only in the camera, so again, might be interlacing. I'll have to look that up. It might be that, but no, but the thing is, no, it's not interlacing, because it is a known effect, that block bar. You know, I know it's a known effect, but it's from the TV. I mean, it's from his actual camera and the TV sync rate. So the, in Venture 3, what you could have done was test it out without the magnet, see if that works. But yeah, I've seen it before. I'm going to ask Grok soon. Does ether exist?
Although skeptics often point to Einstein's theory of relativity, it was Einstein who in 1920 said,
There are weighty arguments to be adduced in favor of the ether hypothesis. To deny the ether is ultimately to assume that empty space has no physical qualities whatsoever. The fundamental facts of mechanics do not harmonize with this view. According to the general theory of relativity, space is endowed with physical qualities. In this sense, therefore, there exists an ether. According to the general theory of relativity, space without ether is unthinkable.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I haven't heard about it, talk about ether. But one thing is, again, like the way I view it is that empty space exists, but not when you take out all the air, that's not empty space. That's all you have is ether. But I'm saying what I think is there's ether and there's nothing. So there's actually empty space, but what we view as outer space or vacuum is not empty space. That is all filled with ether. So so right on, so that's the one. And yeah, so due to the frame rate of TV matching camera, all right. I'm gonna go right here. Oh yeah, this Grok AI. I'll show you how good Grok is. We'll just go open up on this grok.com then. Okay, and ask it. Why does this black bar show on my camera but not the TV? When I film this cathode ray tube TV. Alright, I'm gonna start standing. Yeah, rolling shutter effect, that's what it is, yeah. Okay, stand up. Yeah, CRT TV. Yeah, so basically, it's a phenomenon called the rolling shutter effect, combined with refresh rate mismatch between the CRT and your camera. CRT's refresh the display by scanning electron beam across the screen in a series of horizontal lines, typically at a rate of 60 hertz or cycles per second, or 50 hertz. This scanning happens faster than the human eye can perceive, so it looks smooth to us. However, most modern cameras, especially those with smartphones, use a rolling shutter, which captures the image line by line from top to bottom rather than all at once, like a global shutter. When your camera's rolling shutter scans the image, it may not perfectly sync with the CRT's refresh rate. As a result, so basically it does not sync. Casimir effect has been done in a vacuum and at absolute zero. Still much energy is everywhere. Yeah, definitely. That's what I mean. Casimir effect. Basically, it's like the ether pressure. But what the point I'm trying to make is, I think there is actual empty space, but achieving it requires taking the ether out. and that is not an easy thing to do. So in other words, there is the modern definition of empty is not empty. So anyways, I'm gonna go to this rolling shutter. I just want to see some images. I think we'll go to wiki. Probably have some good stuff here. Rolling shutter. Just illustrate that. So here's an animation showing the rolling shutter effect. Yeah. So here's if it's rotating and then you're getting info from the top. So if it's you're gonna have a blurry effect like that because you're getting the images. And here's a slow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Here's another one. Yeah, there's another one. It looks like it's curved just because by the time you're taking it. Here's another one. It looks like it's curved. Here's lightning. It looks like it's going upwards. So that's cool. And there's another skewed setup there. And then the black line is probably yeah. So you're capturing what it hasn't been fought. The ether is likely quantum fluctuation. Yeah. That's the thing. Quantum fluctuation is. It's like the mainstream. They tell you the ether exists, but they don't want to call it that. They call it virtual time particles that pops in and out of like existence. In other words, the ether. All right. Okay. So that's that part. I'm gonna close some stuff here. But anyways, yeah. So Paul Alves in the show. Let's go. Okay. So, I'm gonna refresh this one. Okay. And then there's a paper I was sent by this guy. We'll see if I can grasp it. The guy seems to be quite advanced, and also definitely check out Aether from Fractal Woman, Aether circulation model and permanent magnets, and so on. And basically, there's another Aether circulation. Basically, when you have magnets spinning, you're forcing the Aether to go one direction. So then you have a bigger magnet. Okay, so that's that Aether circulation loop one. We'll play. Let's see what it has here. Videos. Aether. Okay, Aether model of electricity and the missing circuits of magnetism. Let's play this one right here.
Exactly is a surface wave. Surface waves are the waves that you find on the surface of lakes in large bodies of water.
Yeah.
So
anyways, here's what I mean by waves. So something waves, you're gonna have to have different.
The deformations propagate with the wave speed.
Go back here. So if you have waves in water, you need non-water as well. You can't just have water and then nothing else. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is there needs to be area. Even if you have a pressure difference, that means there's more of something in something. So in other words, you need to have something that's not that. So in other words, this is a higher. Yeah. This part right here is more water, less non-water. In other words, air or space. And then here's just a surface wave. And these are tracking all the particles. So the particles don't actually move away from the circle.
Basically just moving in tiny little motions locally where they are right now.
Yeah, so basically you saw that basically circles, moving in circles creates that illusion of an actual wave being moving. Matthew, hey, what's up, people? Too nice of a day to be inside watching a live stream. Plus, I have stuff to do around the house. So yeah, epic stuff. Yeah, it's the morning right now for me. It's 11, almost 11 a.m. But yeah, do your thing. And watch the video when you can, or watch it outside.
And so actually I have a little example of that. Here is a stick in the water, and you can
notice none of these stuff are moving. It's just waving back and forth.
As the waves come, the stick is just sort of moving up and down, and these little foamy things on the water as well. The cylinder.
And then she also discusses the Einol Dino's Aether setup here. And then she basically made a surface wave simulation.
Animation, only I made the circles bigger, and you can see I've got a higher wave amplitude. This really does look very much like the surface waves that you can call it.
Yeah, and then basically this is a current in a wire. Basically flows you have wave flowing due to ether circulating.
When the electrogen wind blows along the wire in the direction.
And then this wind, they call it electrogen. Basically, I call it as like non-ether. Putting my walking shoes on and about to head to the park with my headphones and on and watch some epic stuff. Yeah, so we have Paul pulling out all the stops for this.
From left to right, from the negative to the positive, from the negative to
this model includes a thing called electrogen. So that's another thing that goes in like that. Good luck in removing the ether virtual particles. Basically, same as theoretical. Try to look up what is a magnetic field made of. they will talk about virtual electrons. Yeah, definitely. So they think everything in terms of particles, and then they come in and out of existence. But the thing is, when they say that, what you're literally just saying is ether, ether wave, and then ether non-wave. That's basically what coming into existence is.
To the positive terminal, and propagates from left to right. So what it does, the wind blows.
I want to see how good Grok is, but first I want to see. I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go summarize. So I know, actually, I think I have summarized already. I've summarized all our videos using the AI summary because I want to put it in the Hive blockchain, and I think I have done it already. So this is going to give me an error. So this will give me an error, and it will say it's already been, okay, so it's not showing, but it should give an error saying it's already been summarized, and then it gives me a link to them. Yeah, it's already been summarized 2 months ago by yours truly. I'm going to go with Electrigen. Yeah, so I'm going to ask Grok, we're gonna go, make a table of the Aether, Electrigen, and other important parts of the Aether model by Einol Dinu. On YouTube, and Lori Gardy, Fractal Woman. Okay, let's see if it makes table without having to research. Thank you so much, Matthew. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, have a good one, Inventor 3. So, see Electrogen. Okay, so this is a good table. Yeah, so with AI, you can literally summarize in a table, and generally it should be correct. So if you've seen the work, but it's good for like refreshing stuff. And then I think some of the peaked ones are my own one. So here's me. It's literally. So okay, this is a part where a lot of people are like scared of AI and so on. But don't be scared of AI. AI is one of the most powerful tools if used properly. So in other words, put real information, and then look what it's using my own like references right here, because I made article on Hive. Grok AI is literally picking up my article that I want to be summarized, and then I put links to all of Einol Dinu and Lori Gardy. But then you have these guys, but these are debunking site. Mine is ahead of the debunking one. Okay, anyways, this person here, ignore this person. That's calling them a crackbots. But anyways, and I shared everywhere, so I was able to literally convince Grok that my article is a more important one. So anyways, so Aether, so below is a table summarizing the key components of the Aether model proposed by Einol Dinu, Aether Science, and Lori Gardy, Fractal Woman, focusing on the Aether, Electrogen, and other important elements of their framework. This model seeks to provide a mechanical explanation for the electromagnetic phenomena diverging from conventional physics by reintroducing the concept of the Aether and introducing Electrogen as a new chemical element. So Electrogen, and what's interesting is, I think Maxwell, he actually had like two spaces that they called it like hydrogen and electrogen. I think were like or something like hydrogen. Yeah, basically it's something like that. But as like below he had two elements below hydrogen, and or the guy who had the table of elements or whatever. Anyways, watch Einol Dinu's videos. I'll probably ask it in this later. Anyways. So Aether, a compressible inviscid liquid. So that is compressible. So that's the thing. It could be a, yeah. So this one's compressible. Liquid that fills all the space, including vacuum and interatomic spaces within substances. So I'll have to check this paper. I'm not sure if it's compressible or incompressible. But anyways, and substance it mediates interactions like light propagation, magnetism, and gravity, and then acts as the medium for transmitting interactions, electrostatic, magnetic, and so on. Electrogen. This is a key one. A proposed new chemical element, neutral in nature, responsible for electrostatic phenomena. It replaces the concept of electric charge with the idea of energy through energy charge, with the idea of energy charge through vibration. Vibration vibrates to produce electrostatic interactions and repulsions. It's the electric fluid that moves as a diffusion wave in a wire, driving electric current and interacting with the surface ether, with surrounding ether, and current creates magnetic field. So basically you have this another element, electrogen, that's the key one, and then the ether is where it fills up everything. This one basically can move the basically does not Yeah, basically this one like can push the ether. So electric current is defined as a diffusion wave of electrogen moving through a conductor rather than the flow of electrons or charges, and waves generated on the surface between the electrogen wave in a wire and the surrounding ether. And then basically, yeah, you have the electrogen going in and out. It would go basically diffusion waves going down and out, so something like that. Anyways, that's something mechanical electrogen. I'm gonna go over. I need to try to grasp it a bit better, and that's what I'm doing this for. I'm gonna go to Einaldinho, electrogen. I think he mentioned this before. This is the one part I need to like grasp it better. God, this is electrogen. Trouble with Maxwell's, and then we'll go over to the paper he wrote. So, Paul Lowell says, if you had a theoretical cube of water large enough to have its own gravity, nothing else around it, and imparted a force in one end, would a wave travel through the cube? So, if you had a theoretical cube of water large enough to have its own gravity, so its own gravity, nothing else around it, then imparted a force in one end, would a wave travel through the cube? Interesting. Yeah, because if you had a cube of water, well, how's it a cube? You're not going to be able to have it as a cube unless you're like somehow forcing it. I'm trying to think. For gravity, yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to think if it's a cube or just like a sphere of water, and impart a force in one end. Yeah, it should travel through. If there's no, but the thing is, you need some empty space. So like, how is it a cube? Is it completely forced in? And water is technically incompressible. Floating cube of water, basically. But again, a cube, I mean a floating ball of water. So the question is, how is it? What's keeping it a cube? So there's a force keeping it a cube. So there's a force on it to be a cube. But the question is, can that space change? Can the cube deform? If you can't, and you're assuming water is incompressible. Yeah, a column. But again, so I think the question is, how is it not spreading out everywhere? So in other words, you already have a force compressing it, and the question is it incompressible? If it's not compressible, then there's no nothing will transmit. You know, the force will transmit, but not as a wave. I think it will act like a giant particle. That's my guess. But anyways, that's something. I'm gonna go over it right here. Wave. Okay, so basically, electrogen is what moves. It's just like a diffusion wave that goes in and out. Oh yeah, it just gets pushed through a wire, and that circulates ether. Anyways, that's something we need to grasp for future ones. I asked him multiple times to get on my live stream, but he hasn't. He said he's too busy. Anyways, so that's that part, and I want to go over here. So I made a giant document right here about ether flow and so on. Right, gravity's keeping it together, and there's nothing else around it. Anyways, just thought, yeah, definitely. I'll always think like every inch of it. So if it's a cube, why is it a cube? Why is it not spread out? And is it compressible? So so here is first I showed that the electric charge and magnetic field are very, very similar. Anyways, I went over some stuff here. The homopolar generator. I want to go over to the more important one. Yeah, so this is just Faraday's paradox explained, and I made this right here, and then I included this as well. This is great stuff. And yeah, so this is a paper that he has written. This was in 2010, so again, way back. So you go to this paper. I highly recommend reading it. You'll learn a whole bunch. This was a paper / presentation. So it's his paper or his presentation, and he included his notes right here that he read out to his audience. And going back here. Anyways, go back to this part right here. And the way he views it is, so if ether, it's fluid mechanics, basically is a fundamental science, and then the laws are, then you have Newtonian mechanics, gravitation, electricity, and magnetism, optics, and radio waves, and so on. So ether can explain both mass and electric charge. That's according to his model right here. A model out of the small structure that forms displaces the ether. Two possible properties of the atom, shape and volume. Shape equals different types of atoms. Volume equals different behaviors, and so on. And mass is derived from the ether displaced. Yeah, so ether displaced is mass. In other words, non-ether, like an ether bubble, is what's giving the mass. So the thing is that, the thing that gives its mass is derived from the ether displaced, not matter itself. So matter is not like some sort of magical thing that has mass. It's just that it's a bubble. The more you displace ether, the more it gets compressed by ether. That more mass you have. So attraction and repulsion of matter via vibration of the ether. So matter attracts basically if it's vibrating according it resonates and so on, and different modes, you're gonna have attraction or repulsion. Anyways, and this is a part that's very, very interesting. So material objects move through the ether at constant speed without any detectable resistance. It's very similar to well, yeah, this is I'll get to that in a bit, but yeah, basically here's in space, it just moves around, flowing. So ether, yeah, this is the thing, yeah. So ether has no viscosity. There's no stickiness in ether. So space is equal to ether, just this outer space or vacuum. So if you pour, here's low viscosity fluid. So ether has no viscosity, according to the model. So it just goes in anywhere. It's not sticky like this right here, like syrup. How does the Higgs boson particle, which supposedly is what gives mass of particles according to standard model plane, to this? That's a good question. We'll have to look at that. Basically, the Higgs boson particle. How is that giving mass? Is that even like? I think it's. Is it actually even detected? Like, what is the Higgs boson? So the question is, what's the Higgs boson? Something's called Higgs boson elementary particle, produced by the quantum excitations of the Higgs field. So now you got another Higgs field. One of the fields in the particle physics theory. So it's still something. In standard model, it's a model right here. The Higgs field is a scalar field of two neutral and two electrically charged components that form a complex doublet of the weak. Alright, so if you understand this, alright. Higgs is a particle is a massive scalar boson with zero spin, no electric charge, and no color change that couples to interacts with mass. So it interacts with mass. It's not giving mass. It is also very unstable, decaying into other particles almost immediately. So basically, the real question is, what in the world is the Higgs boson? Alright, anyways, I'm a very, 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 very simple person. So here's what I like. I like seeing the image, and so this is ether properties. Has water but with no friction. So think about water. So water has some viscosity, but like, but it does like it is very similar to like in space. When you have a guy floating, it does look like in here. And again, for those who deny space, they could say that, well, obviously it looks like it because they're inside a bottle of water, inside a pool of water. But anyways, so basically there's no viscosity, so there's no stickiness, but there is pressure because if you have it colliding it with each other, so there's force. So anyways. And then he goes through the paper. Ether constituents are not bound by chemical bonds. And also before that, he has actually a list of all the people that were. Yeah, so he has a list of like people that believed in ether before they all shifted to quantum mechanics, all that mumbo jumbo. So and this part here, Eno Dino references this guy R.T. Glazebrook from 1896. 1896, we're going over 100 years ago. We are still waiting for a second Newton to give us a theory of the ether, which should include the facts of electricity and magnetism, luminous radiation, and it may be gravitation. And perhaps MES is a second Newton. Yeah, so that's the name of the game. All right. Also, guys, we have first Rumble non-spammer. So St. David's, what's up, Matachat? Never forget 9/11 Moonchild heard you first. Let's go. Okay, that is true, guys. Never forget. Let's see if there's any other comments. No other comments on the other streams. And we have 4 people watching. Was it 4 people watching? We have 4 views on X. Unbelievable. Let's go. We have actual people watching on X. So we're on another level, guys. All right, going further. Yeah, so I'm going to go read this. And then he went over basically a mathematical model. And I actually went and validated, well, the mainstream side, I just double checked everything. So ether's a fluid with no viscosity. And then he has it, but it has a density and basically quantity of ether divided by unit volume and so on. Flow with constant speed. The continuity equation. This is the mainstream equation. Continuity. Ether properties no viscosity. So then you remove that viscosity term. Okay, and note that I know that Daniel made a dipole and should move the dot product symbol outside of the brackets. Yeah, the dot product is outside. Again, I corrected him. Anyways, this is the continuity equation. I go over that and so on, and then I basically flow. It's all just fluid mechanics. It's all standard stuff, and I derived it here just for my own sake, and I used Grok AI to help double check everything. And yeah, so anyways, I was gonna do a full video on this, explaining dot product and all this. I'm gonna keep going further. And yeah, so basically the continuity equation. So you just apply fluid mechanics to magnetism. Anyways, and I kind of went in a sidetrack with a bunch of other setup here. Material derivative. I was going over some of the stuff here because I wanted to make it like super advanced. I should dive back into it, but I think I was going to do these separately. Anyways, ether properties. Obtaining vacuum with torusely experiment with a piston. So a vacuum still has ether. Ether permeates the material bodies and moves easily through their volume, and so on. So so basically, ether is smaller than all of these like small for example, iron lattice goes in between them, and ether explains inertia. A cylinder of volume accelerated through an ideal liquid like ether encounters from the liquid a resistance proportional to its volume. So yeah, the bigger volume that's being displaced of the ether, like moving across, that's the inertia as it strikes the ether. And then once it's going at a specific velocity, it's going to be hard to stop that, because it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be just curve around it. Okay, anyways, I went over some equations. Fluid mechanics, Tammy says, thermodynamics, solid state chemistry, yeah. Ether explains this right here, magnetism. So basically, here's ether explains magnetism. Here's magnetism is just a bunch of ducts. So the electrogen is just the duct. So there's an actual thingy that's traveling across the copper wire. Magnetic field, you have the ducts there, and using these ether wakes, you also explain how current, if it's going on opposite directions, they actually, I think they repel. I think. The image on right shows wakes of current A only. Anyways, I'm going over some stuff right here. This is the mainstream electric field lines of radio generated from alternating current. Anyways, it's been a while. I'm trying to refresh my memory, and I'm going to go over now paper. I just want to see what else we had in here. So, and again, going back into that ether setup here, this is the mainstream view of it. Is just that if you vibrate, if you have electrons going back and forth, like current going positive and negative, that creates radio waves. So in other words, vibration of the electrons or electrogen creates this ether waves. So it's like, what more do you need? Okay. And some other stuff here. Ether explains magnetism. Yeah, so basically when you have it as ether flow, if you have a current right here through a copper one, and it attracts another loop of wire, another wire there, if the current's going in the same direction. So you can literally plot out the directions of the current with the direction of another one, and it's like all just lines up again, just ether flow. And this one right here, this is experiment, and then he explains how he did it with water. So basically, water rotation is ether, and so on. So the ether is a liquid with no viscosity. No viscosity is the key part. It follows Newtonian mechanics, structures accelerating through the ether, and gravitation, structures pulsating in the ether. So gravity is just is pulsating or vibration. Electricity structures pulsating in the ether is also electricity. Magnetism is ether vortices. So this is the key part. Magnetism is just ether vortices, just rotating. Light, ether, compression, wave, radio waves, ether wakes. So radio waves are just ether wakes. Light is just a compression wave. So yeah, so it's a compression wave. So basically, if you so when that Paul Levis was saying that if you had water and you hit a force on it, that's light. It's just that actual compression wave going across it. So light is a compression wave. Radio waves or ether wakes are that's also light. Yeah, light and radio waves are just ether wakes, basically the same thing. Compression waves is when you move through a medium, it's gonna compress. It's gonna have that wave across. And so here's papers that he has on here. And then I went back to the end machine. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the washroom, and then we're gonna go over this guy's other guy's paper right here. And another part is ask it for any practical stuff right here. Yeah. So another part I'm gonna ask. Okay. How does the ferrocell work and give cool patterns. Alright, and we'll say the specular reflection. Okay, so I'm gonna close some stuff. And then I'm gonna see if there's any emails. Nothing. Okay, there's just spam emails. I'm gonna close some stuff. Okay, so yeah, this guy messaged me on Substack and then asked him to review his paper. His paper seems pretty advanced, but we will do what we can. I'm gonna close some stuff. So again, definitely check out Einol Dinyo's work there. Alright, and reflection. And then what does it say here? Magnetic fields applied. Yeah, light often from LED strips placed around the ferrocell's perimeter is then introduced. The key is the patterns line in how this light interacts with the aligned nanoparticles. As light passes through, the needle-like structures scatter and reflect light. Yeah, so basically that's all it is. Scattering isn't random, it's influenced by magnetic field geometry. And now the other key part is that when you change the light at different locations, you're going to have different shapes. In other words, it's just an optical illusion. Bernie just put the, yeah, light and radio waves are the same concept, just different frequencies. Yeah, definitely. It's just, they're all just compression waves. So the wakes of it is in 3D. So like the wakes of a, think of this in 3D. Where's the paper right here? So we'll go to the paper. Okay, I'm gonna go to the paper. So again, I think he's definitely onto something. But again, we need to have some practical stuff. He had some experiments, which is very, very epic. Okay, this is me going derivation of speed of sound. Anyways, he also calculates speed of sound from and basically the speed of sound calculated, but for an ether with no viscosity. And so in other words, you get basically speed of light. And then okay, keep going. I'm gonna go back all the way here. So yeah, this was I learned a lot actually. I do need to make those videos eventually. But again, me as an experimenter at heart, I need something experimenting. Okay, so I'm gonna go. This is the experiment. Go over to that paper again. Okay, where's the paper? My bad. Sorry, I'll get to the paper and then send a link there. I should actually print this. Okay, so where's the paper? So here's the paper. Yeah, so this paper very, very important. Yeah, going back into going to the explains magnetism one right here. Yeah, so when you have this, when it goes through, this is surface. Yeah, this is a surface wave there, but in 3D it's gonna be a compression wave because it's there's no surface. Yeah, so basically, yeah, light is just gonna be this in compression as you move anything, and even according to the mainstream, you just vibrate light. No, vibrate electrons. You literally have radio waves. So in other words, literally just vibrating, and then it creates a wave in the ether. In my humble opinion, anyways. Okay. I'm gonna go. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go washroom and I'll play something while I go, which is gonna be MES physics. And which one should I play? Something. Which one's something related to ether? I'm gonna go over this this part right here, Faraday's paradox. I'm gonna go washroom. I'll be back. We'll play Faraday's paradox. All right, and I'll be. All right, yeah, epic stuff. So again, this is very, very simple stuff, and I got a lot of messages saying, well, they were surprised that the spinning the magnet doesn't do anything to iron filings, and so on. Again, this is this is Faraday's paradox, and then if you look at the mainstream explanation, well, first they don't show this. They just say they talk about the current, current doesn't flow in when you spin a magnet in a copper plate is stationary. And again, they don't understand that, but I'm like, the reason is because the magnetic potential lines aren't changing. So magnetic field strength is not changing as you rotate. So anyways, this is like that. So there it is. There's that. And if you rotate, I'm going to rotate it soon. Yeah, so I'm rotating. I'm underneath it, I'm rotating, nothing's changing. So again, that is, if you've seen the earlier one on magnetic isopotential lines. Tammy says, Bernie just put the basic chemistry in layman's terms, which pairs well and gives the other half to what you're trying to point out, thinking secret knowledge, but it's predominantly basic textbook. Interesting, yeah, who's this Bernie guy? But yeah, basically the whole idea is, it is simple, but the thing is, even though it's simple, we still need to produce something. I don't know how to stress that enough. It's like, my view is that a UFO, a flying saucer, is simpler than a car. Because when you have like anti-gravity like a capability and free energy tech, you have less constraints. So there's very little worry about how much gas you have, how much and then contact with the car, with the road. You don't need tires, you don't need anything. So if you have anti-gravity, it removes a whole bunch of limiting factors, like design factors. So in other words, it's probably simpler. Well, it's some sort of and again, I think that's where I think understanding the ether helps get there, and so on. So anyways, so the key is get something practical, and we need to be able to produce something better than like let's say a phone or a TV or a computer. So all this is mainstream tech. So if you if anybody thinks they have advanced knowledge of stuff, they need to be able to do something with it. And for example, one good info on like advanced knowledge. For example, if you know everything, most things are psyop, like COVID, your health will be much better by not taking the jabby jab. So that's advanced knowledge. And another one is like when you understand 9/11. They got literally advanced tech and so on. You can save a lot of time by not voting. Or not worrying that any politician will backtrack on what they say. Because that is a given. And also you'll understand that they're just going to print more and more money so you can invest your money accordingly. And speaking of investing money, I'm partnered with just affiliate now with a gold and silver company. So if you want to protect your wealth, so since basically if you want to buy gold, use my link. This is New World PM, and because I found them from a actually freedom rally. The MC at this freedom rally. I'll play the video. So the MC at the freedom, I was doing a plug, then we'll go back into the ether. So the guy, the MC right here. Where's the MC? His name's Bryce Wade. This guy right here in the back. Well, first they had a rapper. So they had a rapper there. That's pretty cool. And go to the Bryce Wade guy. Okay, and okay, why is it not? I think he talks at the end as well, but he's emceeing like the whole time. Yeah, this is okay. There's Bryce Wade.
Goes away. That's one of the cornerstones of our society, is that we don't have to dedicate massive amounts of resources just.
Yeah. So anyway, so at the Freedom Rally for New Political Party, this guy here, he works at New World. He works at. What is that? Gold. Yeah, so he works at New World PM. They're precious metals, New World Precious Metals. So I think that's a good name, New World Order. I think they're like they structured their business in the Cayman Islands for like tax purposes, so it's pretty cool stuff. And so talk to them; they'll give you some useful tax advice as well. So anyway, so I want to make a note here. So since the year 2000, gold has done a 2x against the S&P 500. That's basically the top 500 stocks in the U.S. stock market, or just I think just whatever S&P 500 picks. But anyways, so here's the chart. The top one is gold. The bottom one is S&P 500. So notice how it's like since the year 2000, it just skyrocketing again. After 9/11, they're just gonna print money to fight wars and so on. And as gold's going up, as gold went up before, that's because they have to go invade the Middle East. Now this is basically telling you war is coming. So go and protect your wealth with precious metals and so on. So anyways. So, and speaking of gold, I'm now an affiliate with New World Precious Metals, a gold and silver broker that is also pro-freedom. Protect your wealth by holding the hardest assets that held its purchasing power for thousands of years. If you want if you want to make a purchase, please use my affiliate link. Please use this, and I'll get like a little cut. If you want to become an affiliate yourself, use this link as well. If you want to actually use their affiliate, but you have to talk to them and they'll interview you. But use the first one. And then use the number, the 214. But anyways, use the first link if you want to buy gold or silver and so on, and talk to them and ask them about some tax savings setup they have. It's pretty good. And the other point I wanted to make was about this. So he actually told me that Costco recently got into the business of gold, and so last year, so Costco, you can actually start buying now Costco gold bar. So now. They bought a whole bunch of gold last year, and now the price is going up. And now they start selling, and the premiums are very, very low. So like, because they got in, they can sell like huge amounts. So you can literally go buy a full ounce of gold right here. And I think my brother said that you can buy one. Yeah, it was $50,000. $50,000 gold bar at Costco. But the thing is, the markup is only like I think like 3%. So now, because Costco got involved, all the other brokers had to lower their prices because Costco is is just making everybody, just driving competition like to the next level. Anyway, so Costco's involved, and gold is still going up. You check the gold price right here, and it's absolutely flying. So again, when you see this, World War III is coming. So buckle up, and one good way is gold, and then use a link and so on. Yeah, gold, Bitcoin as well is another good hedge. Anyways, so that's that. And now I'm going to go over some Ether stuff. I'll keep the grok open and see if I can understand this. So this guy right here, he messaged me, Sir, I hope you're well. My name is Drew. I'm an independent researcher and something of a theorist, I suppose. Or is he? He's an Ether theorist. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind checking the math on one of my theoretical papers. I enjoy every topic related to science, but I'm not much of a mathematician. I'm also new to this platform, hope to use it to share my concepts. I'm not sure how to share with you a paper that I published, but it is only my published work so far on this platform. I believe it is in the read section. I do have other works. Oh, Tony Sachs and how do Matthew? How's it going? It is doing well. How do yourself? All right. Check right here. It just shows up. Okay. Okay. So we're back here. No other comments. It's all good. And okay. Okay. Who won the football match? Which football match? Which one we? Which football match we talking about? Only one I like watching is Mape. Mape is pretty good. It used to be Ronaldo and Messi. But yeah. So basically, I am not a. I played a lot of soccer, but I don't I don't watch much soccer besides bandwagoning best players. Anyways, going further, so I wrote to him. So he says that I believe it is in the research. I do have other works which I've shared with others by alternative means. Anyways, I said, hi Drew, thanks for reaching out. Is this the paper you're referring to? And I put a link there. I can have a look through it during my Wednesday live stream Q&A. The paper looks pretty advanced. So if there are any specific equations you need double checking, let me know. And he says, he says, hello and thank you for replying. The included link is the one I'm speaking of. Yes, I apologize. I'm still getting acclimated to this platform. Honestly, I checked this work with multiple AIs, but I'm not sure if they missed anything. I intend to send a final copy to multiple institutions in hopes that they might at the very least find it be an interesting concept. In the link I sent within this message, I included a little context. Oh, you're playing the other day. Oh yeah, the game, yeah. That one, no, we lost as a friendly one. We lost. I set up a couple goals, so that's pretty good. But yeah, we lost that. It was a friendly. I think we lost. I think 5-2 or something. But it was all right. I couldn't play. I'm not 100% because my shoulder actually pulled like a little bicep muscle a few weeks ago, so I had to play a bit cautiously. But I am good to go. Well, I'll be good to go soon. It was only a friendly, and the real season starts in June 6th. Chelsea versus Real Betis. All right, let's go. Oh yes, Tony Sachs. Yep. Yes. So you remembered my soccer game. I completely forgot about the game. You remembered. Let's go. At remembering MES. So and he says, I intend to send a final copy to multiple institutions in hopes that they might at very least find something be an interesting concept in a link I sent within the message. include a little context as to why I chose to do this. I suppose I'm trying to verify all of this before signing off. And there's the link. Okay, unifying. I think he has the same link there. It's probably the same thing. I guess same thing. Good morning, sir. Hope you're well. While looking through my article, I made a few edits since we spoke last to reflect some necessary changes. All right. Hi, Drew. I am going over your paper now in my live stream, and I'll send a link to him and open this up and link, and then send a link. Please join the chat, and yeah, or I'll just say feel free to ask me questions while I'm live. All right, just so again, people ask me just because I have a math channel. Okay, starts in 30 minutes. Okay, Chelsea versus Real Betis starts in 30 minutes. Interesting. All right. Over the last few days, Rumble playing silly buggers won't play live or play all replays. Interesting. Yeah, that's another thing with centralized stuff. YouTube just has the longest track record, but they censor everything. And then alternative, I'll always recommend 3Speak for storing videos for future and also earning crypto. Anyways, let's read some stuff here. We're gonna go over his paper. His paper, it seems pretty advanced to the next level. I think. With me, I need to have some sort of model, and also when you, they don't have like Substack doesn't have a what is that called, the latex code, whatever, to reformat numbers. So you got to do it like this. I'll recommend putting a screenshot of the equations, and then also put on Hive blockchain, because then you get upvote from me. Unifying gravity, time, electromagnetism, and cosmology through coherence field dynamics, unified field equation included. Drew M. Druskett, May 22nd, 2025, abstract. This paper introduces a unified field framework in which gravitational attraction, electromagnetic forces, galactic dynamics, cosmic expansion, and time dilation all emerge from a scalar coherence field. Using a novel potential framework derived from structural and conscious coherence densities, I simulate phenomena I traditionally attributed to dark matter and dark energy. Results show excellent correlation with real-world galactic rotation curves, cosmic void behavior, and field-driven time oscillations. Electromagnetic fields are modeled as local oscillations and coherence, unifying light and gravity under a single scalar field. This framework offers a physically consistent and testable alternative to the current standard model. Okay, when live, it keeps you at the very start, and some replays won't play more than half. It's strange, interesting. Yeah, I'll always try to do a hard refresh and so on, because I think Rumble is working for me. I haven't checked, but it should be working. But it was working. I think it was working fine for the most part on Saturday. But I think some people had issues, but it should be fine. All right. Anyways. We'll go to the standard model. Let's check Wiki. And again, Wikipedia, just take it with a grain of salt, but it's what the mainstream views as. So I always use Wiki as to see what the mainstream is, and then if you compare it, so basically you have to compare yours versus the Wikipedia, but also get something else. If you're saying if you can predict something better than them, that'd be good as well. But also make it like try to reinforce that constantly, and do multiple videos and articles on it. So, introduction: general relativity, while effective on solar system scales, breaks down at galactic and cosmological scales. So, general relativity breaks down at galactic and cosmological. Interesting. This has led to ad hoc constructs such as dark matter and dark energy. However, despite decades of research, no direct detection of these entities has occurred. This paper explores an alternative model where gravity is not mass-based, but a field tension arising from coherence, a measure of structure and alignment, and consciousness. Okay, let's go. Coherence field framework, variable reference for unified field strength. We got this PS structural coherence density, so kilograms per meters cubed. Conscious coherence density, kilograms per meters cubed. So they have the same units, and yeah, but this is conscious. Okay. consciousness field vector, units dimensionless or coherence index, and then this is coupling constant, consciousness influence, dimensionless unit. So if you have a field factor, there's no dimension. So the question is, what does it mean by no dimensions? Coherence field proportionality constant equals G. So this is coherence field. That's a big G. But and the other one I want to go with ethereal mechanics. I think he pretty much like was able to. One thing that needs to be done is ethereal. Okay, this one, ethereal mechanics. Definitely check this out, guys. I think he has gravity. He was able to calculate gravity. Gravity is a force after all. And just before we even get to that, the other one is Fractal Woman. Modified unit analysis. She was one key part is like she was actually able to, and also she does a real world example as well. But she was also able to calculate the constants that are in particle frequency. So she was actually able to calculate all of the mainstream constants with her own model. And reinterpret everything using that stuff I went over in my MES physics. And then calculate every single one here. And to like basically the same decimal places as the other one. So that's one thing that needs to be done. And then also goes a real world example. And so on. Inverse. Anyways. I want to
be related to
bring that up because you can actually do real world examples and then go from there. Okay. So anyways, I'm gonna keep this open. Keep this. Go back to this part right here. Anyways, go back to the paper. Okay. So anyways, he's got all these factors: gravitational coherence, field tension. Again, this is very very complex. I like introducing things only when it's when it's needed. Define a correlation. This field accounts for coherent energy, self-tension, and internal structure extended with a unified scalar field S. This field, so he writes this right here: S total is a scalar field. So then the question is, well I'm trying to grasp, what are you actually doing? Like, it's like, okay, define the coherence potential. Time dilation, I perform multiple classes of simulation. So relative time dilation. Galactic rotation curve derived from a corrected logarithmic function right here. Okay, yeah, again, I'm like lost. Like, what am I actually trying to grasp this? Charge density from coherence. Coherence field prediction, and this is Newtonian gravity. Lensing is a curvature of field gradients, and so on. So he has a model. Orbital velocity. Again, this is a cosmology and so on is beyond what I know. I just know, like, I need to know a specific thingy. What's the actual issue? Unified field. Okay, let's see what he has. Scalar potentials. QC. So gravity is G equals the negative this consciousness. Okay. Yeah, this is defined as a field Lagrangian for electromagnetic coherence, maybe. So this is yeah, Lagrangian. I haven't like I've done a tiny bit of it. Basically, you have like a principle of least. I actually don't. Let's trying to grasp this Lagrangian. I did this years ago, but Lagrangian mechanics. Okay. And basically, Lagrangian mechanics describes a mechanical system such as M and L consisting of a configuration space M and a smooth function L within a space called Lagrangian. For many systems, L equals T minus V, where T and V are kinetic and potential energy. Yeah, so this is what I mean. It's like, okay, so the Lagrangian in this one is just basically Kinetic minus potential energy equals something. And the question is, what is the Lagrangian here in layman's terms? I'll see if I could try to get Grok to simplify this. Okay, so he has this right here. And total field energy is you have the consciousness times other complete uniform. Anyways, I'm still trying to grasp this. I will see what this is. Explain this in bullet points. Okay, let's do this. Let's see what Grok. We have 17 minutes left, and then we'll go through and so on. Okay, and okay. So why is it going through? Oh, I think I got the wrong. Oh, that's inbox. Okay, I wanted to go. Oh, I got the wrong one. Where's the thingy here? It's putting it at the inbox. Why is it going there? I just want to go click here. Okay, there it is. Home post. Okay, and that was the inbox. So whilst Grok, simplify what in the world's going on here, because again, this is outside of here. Just because I have a math channel, which I teach myself math. Does that mean I know cosmology? Or that's why you need to simplify it everywhere. Okay, why is it keeps going here? Don't have a direct access. However, based on contact request, doesn't have access to it. What do you mean doesn't have access to this? Oh, it goes to home. Like, why is it doing all this? The links are all just wrong. Okay, so finally go to posts. My goodness. Okay, there is the post. My utter goodness. Substack has all these. This is not an actual link. Just okay. Okay, one more try. And you guys, again, guys, if you have questions, put in the chat. Otherwise, you're gonna see me struggling and doing, just trying to figure out stuff. Because I have 2 hours. This is where I try to force myself to learn math, science stuff, or well, the math one just answering questions, but also this one force myself to go over what matters, which is Aether science. Okay, so the link you provided points to a Substack article by Drew Truska titled "Unifying Gravity, Time, AM, and Cosmology," published on April 15th, 2025. I thought it was May. Where's the article? How come the article's gone? Okay, this one right here. Okay. And then April. What is the April? There's no mention of April. April 15th is probably published before. Since I can't directly access the article, I'll base my explanation on the web search results, specifically web. How does he not access the article? I'll send a link to the whole thingy. Okay, I'm gonna copy this. Yeah, so they don't have access to it. I thought I could. I will, I could have sworn it was able to. I could have sworn it was able to. I think, this is where Substack, again, Substack is annoying AF. That's why it posts on Hive blockchain. I'm gonna go right here. Let's see if it works better in here. Okay, let's see if it can calculate this one. Otherwise, we're gonna print this out. Save as PDF. And we'll go to, okay, so we have this. And let's see if it was able to do that. Yeah, so this was able to do it. Just propose a model framework. So grok.com, I was just going to use the grok inside the X because I paid for this one, yeah. But the thing is, I log in with my X account, so it should all work. I don't know what's going on. So article Unifying Gravity, Time, EM, and Cosmology by Drew Druska proposed a new novel framework, the Gravity Time Framework, GTF, aiming to unify gravity, time, electromagnetism, EM, and cosmology. Below is a summary of the key points in bullet form. Introduction to the Gravity Time Framework, GTF, proposes a unified model integrating gravity, time, electromagnetism to address the inconsistency in modern cosmology, such as the Hubble tension and the dark nature of dark energy suggests gravity and time are fundamentally linked, with the gravity acting as a rate of time influencing physical processes. So core concept of gravity is a temporal gradient. Gravity is redefined as a gradient in the rate of time, where regions of stronger gravity experience slower time flow relative to weaker gravity regions. Okay, so basically different time rates. Yeah, my view on gravity is, my view on time is time doesn't exist. Is that, yeah, time is basically, it's, as things change, all you're viewing is like, you're interpreting the change as if time went by. And when mainstream says that time slows down as you go faster, what's actually happening is that the relative difference when you're moving fast, but then there's like there is basically a rate by which like a fastest rate that something can go. So speed of light would be the fastest that ether can go. I'm trying to grasp my mind, but yeah. But if you're moving as fast as that, the relative time. The relative difference between motion is actually much slower. So it appears that time is slowing down, but what's actually happening is that you're just moving relatively slow. So you're not what you're experiencing is much different. So one way to look at it is, if you're in a, I'm trying to think how that works. But anyways, that's for another day. I'll just read his paper and then ignore my time mumbo jumbo for now. We'll get to that in a bit. But anyways, I'm trying to grasp it. Basically, what I mean by time is that clocks will go slower as you move faster. Because the actual tick is nearing the limit that it can go. So then the actual motion is relative to the like the what are the hands on the clock. It's actually going to go, it's relatively going slow because it's going so fast that if there's a speed limit. Yes, basically, in other words, what I'm trying to say is, if there's a speed limit of motion, then that means that as you get closer to that motion, your perception of time is slow because everything is relative to how fast you're going then. And if you're going, let's say, near the speed of light, and then if you're trying to, if the clock's trying to tick this way, then in other words, it needs to move the speed of light plus this amount. So that relative motion, it can't go faster than the speed of light. So this has to be a bit slower than if you were just stationary right now. Anyways, so in other words, the clocks go slow, time doesn't change. So time doesn't slow down, just clocks go slow. Anyways, this temporal gradient affects all physical processes, including light propagation and particle unification of electromagnetism. Okay, anyways. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Critique, call for further research. Okay, make a table comparing this model and equations with the standard model. And note any errors. Let's see what Grok says, because again, when something's beyond my knowledge level, I'll ask an expert. The standard cosmological ACDM lambda cold dark matter. Okay, aspect gravity, time, framework, GTF. Gravity is a temporal gradient where stronger gravity corresponds to slower time flow. Okay, so you're saying slow time. Time dilation drives cosmological phenomena like redshift and expansion. Gravity is described by general relativity. Einstein's field equations. Cosmic expansion is driven by a cosmological constant. This right here. And dark matter. Okay. Let's see what here. Notes on GTF errors and limitations. GTF redefines gravity as a temporal gradient. Lacks the mathematical formulation in the article, making it difficult to test or compare directly. The claim that gravity is solely a time effect contradicts established gravitational dynamics. And then this is equations. No explicit equations provided. Implies no, there is some equations. Implies modifications to classical mechanics and inverse square law based on gradients. Mentions simplified approaches in classical mechanics with adjusted time rates. Suggests redshift as a function of time. Tell me, what is the big game in September in Scotland? My son is planning trip for our fields. Interesting. Scotland, I do not know. Is Mappe and Messi playing or something? Suggest redshift as a function of time dilation. Where is that? Where is time dilation difference? This is Einstein's field equations is this. Friedman's equations is this. Redshift, and then GTF's lack of explicit equations. But they have equations though. Oh, maybe it wasn't picking up the equations. Unified. And there is these equations. I'll explain these. Okay. I'll put this equation. Unified scalar S. Okay, I'm gonna. I'll see there all the equations. I'm gonna copy all these. Okay, so but it does have equations. Okay, so it does have equations. So I just want to compare these equations. So basically, it puts a bunch of stuff here. Coherence. Okay, and a lot of explicit equations, limitations proposed. The redshift relation is vague and not derived from its first principles, unlike ACD and redshift, which is tied to scalar factor and cosmic expansion. Okay, I'm gonna put this right here. Its model has these equations. And then where? See where the other thing is. Okay, so that doesn't show up properly. I'll just print this off. Unified. Okay, we have 6 minutes, guys, before it's go time. Anyways, I just want to see what we can get out of this, and then hopefully can help him out. Because again, you have to realize when you're going against the machine, you best not miss. You got to go next level, next level. And again, if you want an example of next level, I had again a 22-hour video on just gyroscopes, objects in rotation defy mainstream physics, and also but then now I think just the simple experiments are speak for themselves. Okay, so this is this part. Okay, and then I want to continue, and I want to include all these as well. Okay. Or the units over there, actually. Gravitational coherence. Okay, so we need to go. It's not that simple. It's not much simpler. So let's go back here. Okay, I'm gonna go over like this. Yeah, this is just annoying AF. Okay, this is like right here. Apologies for this, but here at MES we try to provide people with answers, even if it means doing things next level. Okay, so there it is. I think it was this one here. Okay, I think I'll put them all properly. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I think I have it all in order. Okay, and this should go. I'm gonna close this one. So we have this coherence field, and then units kilogram. And then it goes gravitational. Okay, that's good. And then the next one is this one all the way. I define coherence potential as that. And 1 second, we'll see what this grok does. I define. And then he writes, I define coherence potential. Okay, no, I put this as it, and we're done. Okay, and then I'll say he has equations though. And see what that means. Okay, let's see what it says here. New set of variables equations aimed at unifying gravitational. Okay, so now it's comparing the tables concept and note any errors, limitations. Also integrate insights from the GTF comparison where relevant. This is oh my goodness. Has these in the article and PDF. I just saved. Of it. if it's easier. Okay, let's see this machine. We're talking to like an advanced machine right here. Okay, there it is. We'll add these, update them. Oh, put a link. Unifying. Okay, so let's see what it says right here. Oh, I sent the PDF there. Okay, didn't include it. Oh, whatever. Relies on that. Okay, let's see if I can make it bigger, or this will make it smaller. See if I can include everything in there. Okay. I just want to see some stuff here. Consciousness field, no equivalent in ECDM. Okay, so that's the thing. Consciousness coupling, dimensionless thingy. I am not sure if he has an Excel sheet or something I can like just like tinker around with. Core concept: introducing coherence field to unify gravity and electromagnetism, replacing Newton's there. Gravity described by general relativity, and then errors. Lacks clear mechanism to reconcile quantum mechanics gravitational effects, unlike established frameworks like string theory or loop quantum gravity. So at least they're trying to contain it. So coherence potential. So here it is. Rewrites it. Consciousness coherence potential coupling factors tunable exponent. Introduces undefined terms like consciousness, coherence, density. Yeah, that's another thing. Like I'm not sure what I don't really talk. Lack justification for alpha, the unified scalar field. S total mixes gravitational and EM terms without a tensor framework, making it incompatible with general relativity. The inclusion of conscious coherence density, unfounded as consciousness is not a physical field in established physics. The exponent is arbitrary and lacks observational justification, unlike the 1/r dependence in Newton's law, which is observably confirmed. All right. So, anyways, we have 2 minutes. I'm gonna send him this link. Let's see what it says here. I'll just tell him that look at your paper, and it's beyond my expertise for now, but I did ask Grok to make a table and compare the standard model. I said, perhaps you can create an Excel file with all your calculations, as well as person with the standard model, so that it is easier for me and others to tinker with. Alright, that's it. We are good to go. Alright, and we have, yeah, now it's just in time. Yeah, and right on time. It's almost 12 noon. Okay, guys, that is all for today, guys. Perfect timing. We send peeps info. So again, if you have information, send me stuff. And again, for these, I'll try to put them for these Tuesday emergency streams. And I'm currently working on, yeah, I went through hours and hours. Basically, hundreds and hundreds of photos of 9/11 for the exterior columns, and that video will get done eventually. Don't worry about it. I did I'll try to finish it. Definitely be up in June. And I put a whole lot of effort into it in the past few days, so it is absolutely astonishing once you see it live. Anyways, delete group. All right, guys, that is all for today. I'm gonna stop the broadcast, and we are good to go. And edit. No more. Okay, we're good. Whoops. Okay, and hey, that's all for today, guys. Let me know if anything, if you guys, yeah, let me know if anything shows up, pops up. Anyways, that's all for today. Or I'll say thanks for joining. Have a great day. All right, guys, that's all. Okay, there's Tony Sachs. Yeah, thanks. Great that you knew about the soccer one. I will be better next time. Well, again, I pulled my like chest / bicep a few weeks ago, but it's healing up. Anyways, that's all for today, guys. St. David's Never forget 9/11 Moonchild. Heard it here first. Let's go, guys. Have a good day, and so on. Let's see if there's anyone else on the other ones. Nobody else commented on the other ones, and that's all. We get 8 views on. Okay, we got 8 views on the what's it called? On X. On X apparently shuts down right at 2 p.m. So that's interesting. That's weird. I'll try to make it a bit later. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Ending the stream in 3, 2, 1.